Hey everybody, it's Sean here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today back in Dead by Daylight, going for the Adept Doctor achievement. If you are doing this on the Windows Store version, this is going to be part of the Spark of Madness update. This one's going to be done from the killer's side. It is to get a merciless killer rating as the Doctor, only using his 3 unique perks. You're going to need the Doctor for this, so again, if you're doing this from the Windows Store version, make sure you grab him from the DLC pack or from the in-game store. You also need to make sure you get him to a minimum of level 10 in order to open up 3 free perk slots. The perks you want to use and only use are going to be Overwhelming Presence, Monitor, and Abuse, and then finally you are going to want Overcharge. Leave the 4th empty if you have that available to you, and you can do whatever you want for add-ons or offerings. Start up the game, and it's time to get to the advice in order to get the Merciless Killer rating. So, the Doctor is going to be whatever the opposite of a stealth-based killer is. He is going to primarily benefit from being close to survivors. His gameplay is going to mostly revolve around putting pressure on the survivors, and his build and ability is going to mostly revolve around survivors being within your terror radius. So when the game opens up, what you want to do is you want to make sure you do the thing where you look at all of the generators, and then hopefully you find one where the survivors are going to be working on it. Make sure you don't approach them to attack quite just yet. You want to kind of stand far back and then use your left bumper attack, which is going to be the static blast. That should get them off the generator, and it should also start putting madness on them. It's also going to reveal their locations, so you can use that to get a leg up once they manage to separate from the generator. Make sure you solo out one of the survivors and then get your first chase in. Hopefully this results in both a down and a hook, and then we can build from here. So this is going to be the main strategy you want to utilize in order to try to go for the Merciless. Personally, I recommend staying away from the Doctor's gimmick of putting Madness on everyone, simply because Madness isn't going to be a status condition that's going to slow people down to the point of being useful. So personally going to recommend Static Blast for its ability to find survivors rather than its ability to put any sort of status condition on them. So just make sure you use it to look for survivors. It should also pressure them off of generators, which is also going to be very helpful. As for the Doctor's other special attack, which is going to be Shock Therapy, which is going to be your left trigger attack, I honestly don't find it super useful unless the survivor pressures you into a loop, but because it doesn't really do much other than increase the madness on them slowly, it's not going to really help you out. And by the time it is potentially helpful, the survivor is most likely going to waste a lot of your time in the loop anyways, so might as well not use it unless you have to. So, long story short, make sure you use your Static Blast in order to find anyone who's hiding, then make sure you get the chase going. Use your Dead by Daylight fundamentals, and hopefully you should do well enough in all 4 of the major killer statistic categories, and then once you've done so, you should hopefully get enough to warrant the Merciless Killer rating. Utilizing the Doctor well is going to require that you have a more aggressive playstyle form, but make sure you don't get too frustrated, especially if you get a batch of survivors who are going to be good on loops. So be very patient with this one, as with the other achievements in this game. But once you do finally manage to get a game where you can whittle down the survivors to the point where you do well enough in all 4 killer categories, you should be good for the Merciless Killer rating as well as the achievement. So here we are, and then we're going to wrap this game up. We should get our Merciless Killer rating and then get to the results screen. Of course, you can hit right bumper on the results screen in order to check which categories you need to improve on, but once you finally get a game enough where you do well, you should be good for the achievement. 20 gamer score, and that's all there is to it.